Hello, welcome to Curious Awakenings with Em and Rama, where we wonder how kindness and magic connect. Rama, how you doing today?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Now that we breathed.
We did some breathing. We did an Om. We're feeling centered. Yeah. I feel like I wish I had known about how powerful that was when I was like working and having meetings with, like lots of folks.
Yeah.
It's so nice to start out doing something with some breathing.
Right. And even though people might not necessarily be on the same wavelength as us about a lot of this stuff, I find, I don't know about you, I find when I introduce these kind of little simple things to people, they do take to it, and just to breathe, just breath.
Absolutely.
So it's nothing woo-woo, fancy schmancy, just, hey, can we breathe? Can we take a couple of breaths? It's like in a whatever setting. We don't have to be oming. I mean, I happen to love oming. You do too. A lot of our viewers, listeners, viewers, seers probably love oming too. So, but it's a great way to center. And as I was saying, I was a little stressed earlier. Yeah. Trying to get here, but now we're present.
We're good. And I think, neither of us would say we're an expert on breathing or on oming, but that's the topic of our episode today, experts and gurus.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, gurus.
Right. So I'm wondering, Rama, why do you think folks seek out an expert or a guru?
Yeah, why do we seek out experts / gurus? And, well, one of the things, thinking this morning, I realized I wanted to bring this up. I'm not sure if we have talked about this the other day at our meeting. I don't know if we did. The guru stands for G-U-R-U, right? So the guru is within all of us. The guru is you, the guru is me. So we look to others for guidance. Why do we look to experts? Well, for guidance, we feel like we don't have the knowledge. Doctors is a prime example. Doctors are wonderful. Thank God for doctors. I wasn't able to be a doctor because I couldn't deal with the blood in the guts, and I got too, squeamish. Maybe if I had worked through it, could have been. But anyways, I'm very grateful for doctors and people who go into that profession. However, they practice medicine. They're not experts on medicine, or they're certainly not experts on natural living. Because as I mentioned, I think, and a lot of our viewers could maybe confirm this or have more knowledge about, especially your doctors out there watching, how much naturopathic, natural, holistic healing do doctors, MDs, get? You have a lot of doctors who are friends. I have friends and family who are doctors, and I really haven't asked them specifically this question because I don't really want to put them on the spot, but I bet it's about, from what I've heard, you may have knowledge about this, it's maybe 8 hours-ish during their whole training. So they're certainly not experts on connecting the dots. Prime example, if I may. Experts on skin health, dermatologists. I went to my dermatologist for a recent, checkup, all that. Checkup from the neck up, check basically, and I noticed at the counter they had sunscreens and different lotions for people, free samples. And I did a dastardly thing. I picked one up and actually started reading the ingredients. Dastardly, the ingredients. And I'm at a dermatologist doctor's office, and they're giving away free cream and free sunscreen that has these things I can't pronounce. And chemicals I know are chemicals, and FG, DC, blood, color this, color that. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm at a dermatologist, experts supposedly on skin health.
I think it's an interesting point to bring up, because what I'm hearing is we all have a responsibility in co-creating our experience with our experts.
You said it exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So I think it's important that we have people who have dedicated time to studying something, to practicing something.
Amen.
I don't know how to fly a plane. I really want my pilot to know how to fly a plane.
Amen.
I want them to be an expert in that. But to go back to your example of sunscreen and going to the dermatologist, I think when we give all of our power to care for our skin or our body or our health, we give all of our power over to someone, to one person, to someone outside of us, you know, we have a responsibility.
Danger, Will Robinson.
I think we have a responsibility to educate ourselves on what it is that we're using, what we're putting on our skin or in our bodies, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think it's dangerous for us to put too much blame,
or
we have a responsibility
too much blame or too much power.
Absolutely, it's because it's two sides of the same coin.
But it made me wonder, why aren't they more holistic in my dermatologist's office? You know, it's like,
I mean, that's just not their game, right? That's not their game.
But I asked the dermatologist and their assistant
Yeah.
about that, and they said, well, that's not our, they said exactly that. I said, I didn't get into it, but I was irritated, to say the least. And you know, I'm a bit of a, I don't know, perfectionist. I'm a bit of a, I don't know if that's the right word. Attention to detail. Mm-hmm. As a Virgo, we have high attention to details. Mm-hmm. Just being me, I have a high attention to detail. And I want that stuff to be good stuff. Mm-hmm. They could easily have gotten Badger Company, they could have gotten Burt's Bees, but their pharmaceutical reps gave them all these free samples with crap in it. And I'm going to put that on my face. And
Well,
I'm
do
going
you
to
know how they change, Rama? Do you know how folks change and learn?
And you're a pharmacist, so you can, how do people change and learn?
Right, like conversation.
Yes.
Right?
And I tried to have a conversation with the doc and then with the people at the counter.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was getting through.
Yeah.
I tried to do it gracefully.
Right.
I tried to do it with love and grace.
Yeah.
Which I hope I'm getting better at.
Yeah. We're all practicing.
I'm certainly not an expert at communicating with love and grace, but I think I'm getting better.
Yeah. Heck yeah. We're practicing, right? We're never going to be experts, but we can practice.
Right. It begins, and I say this a lot. Beginner's mind is open to beginner's mind is open to all possibilities. Expert mind is open to few. Beginner's mind open to all possibilities. Expert mind open to few. So I'm doing yoga a long time, but I certainly don't purport myself as an expert.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you would be able to teach someone.
Yes,
right?
I do, and will. I
think that's the thing with our experts, with even our gurus, right? There is a knowledge base there that is really valuable. I think when we discount that experience, that practice, that knowledge, and I think that can be dangerous too, right? When we say, I don't need an expert, I don't need a teacher, right?
Ooh.
But
let me think about that. That's a good point. Yeah.
But when we give all of our power, we invest everything in them, that can be dangerous as well.
Go to them for guidance, but not all the answers.
Yeah.
Some of the guidance, but not all the answers. Because certainly the marvels of modern medicine.
Yeah.
I say that 10 times fast. The marvels of modern medicine are amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that we can go and, you know, I don't know, we could give a list of things that they do for us.
Yeah.
However, it's still up to us, up to our bodies to heal themselves with guidance, with help, with nice natural skin cream, you know, to put on my head, you know, that keeps my noggin from getting whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, I can kind of share a little bit about my experience being in that world, right? Being in the Western medical field. I was a clinical pharmacist, and I would see folks for visits to help them manage diabetes and quit smoking and lose weight. And I got to build these long-term relationships with folks, which was great. But my toolkit was the medicine, right? That, as a pharmacist, that's what I knew. That was what I could offer, right? And I think they have an important part to play in health, but it's not the whole picture.
Right.
And I think for folks who give all of their confidence over and kind of surrender their own agency, their sense of power over their bodies and minds and health, when they surrender that to a medication, I think that can kind of tip the balance too far in one direction. Again, I think a medication can help, but when we put it on a pedestal, right? We like to talk about pedestals. When we put it on a pedestal or make it into some kind of like idol, then, you know, we give our power away to the medicine or to the pharmacist or
to the
or
guru.
Whatever it is, to the guru. Yeah. So it's like, how do we navigate that balance between, you know, finding the tools and the people that can help us to grow, to learn to be better versions of ourselves, but not give up who we are in the process and our autonomy in the process.
Very, very well said. And how do we find the balance and all that? And I
Yeah.
think we were going to, the topic for this show was going to be balance until it turned into experts and gurus, which we both agree upon would be a great show too. So everything in life is kind of balance. You know, we have to find balance in so many different things. And as you're talking about giving away the power to the pharmacist, a lot of people give away their power to the guru.
Mm-hmm.
And Kripalu Yoga Center, KRIPALU Yoga Center in West Stockbridge / Lenox, Massachusetts. It's been a home away from home for me and my starting point for yoga, my yoga journey. And a lot of people there were giving away their power to the guru. Back in the, I don't know, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the guru could only go, they put him up on a pedestal, they gave their power away, and up on a pedestal he only had one way to go.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't go up any higher, so he fell off. And that's happened with so many guru type experiences, the yoga world. They're ripe with those stories, and not all of them, but a lot of them have fallen off pedestals. When we put people up there, they've fallen off. And I was telling you the stories about a couple of experiences I had.
Yeah.
Especially the, should I tell the Native American?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Friend, oh, okay, thanks. Our family friend, I bonded with him very well because we had a lot of things in common. We had a similar way of looking at the world. We were both athletes, competitive, masculine, strong, and aware, and wanting to be better human beings and all that, and in the world of improved self growth. And he was not a chief from the Native American tribe from Rhode Island, but he was like high up there. He had a Native American name, and I really looked up to him. Right there, right?
Right.
And,
think about that language, right? Like,
I looked up to
it's
him.
such a perfect way to describe. Yeah.
So during, we had a sweat lodge at my sister and husband's property. They were very much into Native American traditions and values and lifestyles. They had a sweat lodge in their backyard. So we had a sweat lodge, and we were all there. And when in a sweat lodge, you bare your soul, basically. And I think you pretty much, at some point, sometimes you're naked. I don't think we were naked necessarily, but you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so in the vulnerability, you share what's in your heart and soul. That's part of the sweat, and let it go and all that. So I was sharing something about, I won't use the name just for confidentiality, but when it came to my turn, I looked to the person who was leading the whole ceremony, the Native American man friend, and I said, wow, I just feeling that, I really looked up to you, and I thought we had a great connection, and now I don't feel like we have any connection. And he said, oh, don't look up to me, just look at me. That was one of my biggest lessons of all time.
Yeah. How does it feel in your body now, thinking about that story?
Real good.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. No residual angst or anger or stress about it. Just feels, wow. I ingrained it. What is that the right word?
Like internalized
it, ingratiated it. Yeah, I took it in.
Yeah.
And so it felt good in the moment. I don't know how it felt in the moment, but
yeah.
I felt, maybe in the moment I felt, I looked up to him. He didn't want me looking up to him. Okay. No one wants us looking up to them, I don't think.
Well, I think it's an important question to ask, right? Because I think that sometimes you have a guru who doesn't say that. You have
who doesn't say,
don't look up to me. Yeah,
True that.
Right. I think we can definitely consider moments in history, or maybe even in our own lives, where someone has welcomed that idolization.
That's a good phrase. They have welcomed that idolization. Yeah, and the danger in that. Welcome that idolization. Yeah.
Because it's certainly a danger for folks who are putting all of their confidence in one person to guide them, to lead them.
It's dangerous for that person who's doing that, and then it's dangerous for that person to have to play that role all the time.
Right.
We know it with a lot of us raised Catholic. Some of us might still be Catholic out there. The Catholic priests, you know, sometimes they're out and about at the grocery store and they wear the whatever it's called, I think frock, and with the white thing, so it donates that they're the priest. And they play that role out in society, you know, unless they go out in plain clothes. And then they don't have the frock on, so they're just a regular guy or regular gal. Oh, I almost said regular gal. Priests aren't gals.
Yeah.
They should be. Whoa, ding, 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 ding. Priests should be able to be gals too, like they, in the Episcopal or the Protestant, they can be gals, right? They can be women.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, so it's an
Hope
interesting
the Pope
question.
is watching. Hope the Pope is watching. And by the way, God bless you, Pope. Hope you're getting better and better. I heard he's getting better.
Oh, good. Excellent. And so
Knock
it's an
on wood.
interesting question. Like you had talked about how they never get to shed that identity as
Possibly.
as the spiritual
Unless
leader,
they've done some
right?
work on themselves, maybe, right?
Well, no. I mean, you had kind of mentioned how they go out in public. They're at the grocery store, and they're still
In role,
in the role of the priest.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is it dangerous, or should people be allowed to cast that aside for a moment to like step into another version of themselves?
I think so.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I'm not in their shoes, so I can't speak for them, but I think they just want to be themselves.
Right.
One of our reverends in a church I was part of, Unity on the River in Amesbury, Massachusetts, he would come out, he would host pub nights.
Yeah.
Well, he was at a pub night. He didn't want to be the reverend. He just wanted to be one of us, hanging out, having a beer.
Can he be? Can he be?
That's the question. In some people's eyes, maybe not. Even when the way I looked at him, did I just see him as another guy? Or did I see him as the reverend too? And I probably treated him as a reverend too.
Yeah. That's an interesting question to think about.
Yeah.
Once you decide to step into, or maybe you haven't made the decision necessarily to step into that role, but because of your unique experience, because of your knowledge, people have granted you the gift of seeing you as an authority, or at least someone to learn from, a teacher maybe even, right? Maybe
someone
you
to
haven't
learn from.
self-selected
That's
that's
the way
what
we
you
should
are,
be
but
looking at them, as a teacher, someone to learn from.
teacher.
And there's a saying in the yoga world too.
Yeah.
Excuse me for cutting in, butting in.
Yeah.
Let everyone be our teacher, and everyone will be our student.
Yes.
Because
yes.
everyone is our teacher.
Exactly.
Especially little kids, right?
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Because
yeah.
well, they haven't been. I had this experience with a friend recently, 5 years of age, and we went out to a nature place. He said he saw things, like things as far as like he saw people, things, and spirits, but there was no one else there.
Yeah.
And they say the experts say that young people are in touch with that previous life stuff. They see spirits, they see things, they experience things, and so they haven't been too overrun with mishigas and stress. They don't have to pay mortgages, they don't have to pay bills, they just have to be a little kid.
Right.
They have to be a human being. So why did I mention that? So teachers. Yeah, so this new friend was definitely a teacher, and reminded me about the magic. They still see the magic. And as adults, we sometimes stop seeing the magic.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage that in kids and in people, for all of us, because I sometimes see stuff. Do you ever see, like, I don't know if it's a shadow, I don't know if it's a spirit, I don't know exactly what it is. It's the unexplained, which hopefully we'll have a whole show on the unexplained, the paranormal and all that. But do you ever see, like, things you can't explain around you?
I think
sometimes?
when I see magic, it's in the form of like animal messages, of like messages from my spirit guides, like feathers or phrases. I don't know. I don't necessarily.
See apparitions or spirits or like
exactly,
that. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's
in
just
touch
so
with
cool.
You're in touch with the magic.
Yeah, I like to think
Stay
so.
in touch with the magic, I think, is a beautiful way to
Yeah.
be. I'm not going to say, hey, stay in touch with the magic, everybody, because I'm telling people what to do. But I love staying in touch with the magic, and I'm hoping others will stay in touch with the magic.
Yeah, and I think as we stay in touch with the magic, especially, we think about our inner magic, our inner strength, our intuition, our higher self, I think we're able to kind of shield ourselves from a guru or an expert who's maybe trying to take our power away from us. And I think it brings up the idea of like, what are maybe red flags? What are things, you know, when thinking about experts or gurus or people who
Great question.
who have knowledge and experience? Like, you can't deny that they have knowledge and experience, but you know, how do we make sure we're in good hands, I suppose, for the time we choose to be in those hands?
Excellent. Great question. I think about this stuff a lot, too.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Spiritual integrity.
Yeah.
I think I have a good radar for spiritual integrity.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Oh, like, I can give examples, but I don't want to call any particular person out, but there's a couple people in the spiritual authorship world where I picked up a book a while ago and I was just like, oh, it's a very popular person in the spiritual world. I just get the heebie-jeebies about their spiritual integrity. And I just put the book down and says, not for me. Tried not to judge them as being a bad person or whatever, but I just saw dollar signs for them as their motivation. And whatever that's someone's motivation, it's not my bag. You know, we all have to make a living, all have to make money, but make a living, not a killing.
Yeah, I think so. Like, when you talk about having the heebie-jeebies, you were feeling that kind of internal. You were honoring your internal compass, right?
It wasn't jiving with me.
It didn't feel good in your body,
No,
right? I saw you just like kind of cringe. It was like a full body cringe you just made, right?
So many people
idolize
slash borderline idolize this person.
Yeah, but for you, it just wasn't right, and so you knew how to trust your gut.
I trusted
right?
it. I trusted it.
But I think some of us were still developing that radar, like you said, that radar, right?
Yes,
I think a big one that I like to think about is fear. I always get a little bit anxious, or I put up a little bit of a wall when I feel someone is trying to use fear to tell me what to do, to get me to do this or that. So like I have a friend who went to a chiropractor for the first time. I think chiropractors are awesome and that's great. But for this friend and this chiropractor, she went and they took a bunch of x-rays and the chiropractor said, if you don't come and see me, twice a week, every week for the rest of your life, you're going to have all kinds of spinal, issues and you're not going to be able to walk anymore. And I think at that point she's calling me and she's like, well, now I don't know, like, is that true? Or is he just trying to get me to come to more sessions? And so immediately that sense of fear, it was cloudy, it was, I don't know. And the fact that she had that sort of sense to get another person's take on the situation, she's trusting her compass, right? I think, right, I was actually just talking to a friend the other day who had spent 6 months in a cult. And part of the hook, this is a person, very smart, very kind, charismatic person, just in a vulnerable place. And I think that's how a lot of times it happens. Had found gurus, had found spiritual teachers, and the way they kept my friend and her partner where they were, they said that mankind had lost their souls, and that their children had lost their souls, and they had to stay in this place and have their bring the souls back. And so it's a scary thing, right, to think about someone telling you you've lost your soul or your children have lost their souls, but it can be a really powerful manipulative tool, right? So learning, when is it that someone is taking that tack?
And yes, and again, that's muscles.
Yeah.
Our spiritual integrity muscles.
Yeah.
And working that, and I've worked that a lot. So thoughts about that. Fear. Yes, religions are good at that. Religions.
So many, right? I don't want to just pick on religion. I think there are so many different kind of institutions.
Institutions
right?
are good at that. Religions are good at that. Unfortunately, chiropractors are good at that. And I think again, I don't want to. No. I'm not denigrating the whole chiropractic field.
No. Yeah.
Just some practitioners or whatever, some business people, shall we say?
It could be anything. That was just
an example.
It could be
anything.
Yeah.
Chiropractors, we love you. You do great work. Can I finish the thought? Okay.
Sorry, Rama.
That's okay, because I have thoughts.
I'm getting all excited.
I know you are. You made some very good points.
Please.
Cults. But whenever someone does that, like if a chiropractor does say they try to get you in for like 6 weeks, 6 months, and twice a week. My inner knowing is, no, I don't need to do that. I have an inversion table at home. I'll hang on my inversion table, and I'll maybe come see you once every 3 months or whatever. Just that's, again, not to pick on chiropractors. But whenever someone does that, tries to hook me like that, I instantly
feel the little...
Yeah, feel the heebie-jeebies, and I instantly revolt against it. I rebel against it. It's sheer physics.
Yeah. I think another important thing to consider when navigating experts, gurus, thinking about how is fear factoring in. Also, is the person saying their way is the only way, right? I think that can be a little.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
That's why that person, that practitioner may be saying you have to come to see me to get healthy.
Right. So it's another side, I think, of the same equation, right? Where there is fear, like if you don't come to me. But I think again, there are plenty of experts who say like this is the only answer. But we all know every human being is different, and everyone's needs might be a little bit different than the next person. So allowing for there to be other answers, I think
diversity in solutions, diversity in outcomes, diversity in choices of how to get healthy, how to be healthy.
Yeah.
It's like do we have to take this pill?
Yeah.
And you have a lot of experience with that with the pharmacy world. It's like this pill, and at some point, may I? At some point, maybe we could talk about this whole thing about side effects. And as I listen to Pandora a lot, and they have advertisements for various pharmaceutical things, and then they talk about this. They do the ad for about 20 seconds, and they talk about the side effects for about 45 seconds.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that another day.
Okay.
But in our last couple of minutes, I just want to make sure we talk about
bring me back.
Green,
Focus. All right.
Green lights for gurus and experts.
Green lights.
Right? We talked about red flags.
On a good note, positivity.
Yeah. So when seeking out, because again, we don't know all the answers. We can go inward to see what feels right. But sometimes you want to learn something from someone else, and that's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing.
What are some green lights you look for?
Yeah, I think when someone can turn the table back on you and say, "What do you think? What do you think? What does your gut say?" Or when someone can say, "That's a really good question. I don't know the answer, but here's some places where you might go for an answer."
And isn't that refreshing when someone does that? Imagine if a doctor, I know we're getting back on the doctor thing.
And great doctors do that.
Yeah,
they do that. Absolutely, they do that.
Yes,
and spiritual guides, they do that.
They empower us, and they work with us because it's a team.
Yeah.
So how can that person help with whatever's weight loss? How can they help someone with a healthy weight loss program?
Yeah.
Not just let's lose 50 pounds, but how can we do it in the most healthy way possible?
Empowering way.
How do you feel? What steps can you realistically take? Asking someone that, as far as losing the weight you want to lose and being as healthy as you want to be, or what steps can you take to get back into the gym? What's going to realistically work for you? I can share all kinds. I'm a personal fitness trainer, yoga teacher, athlete, blah blah. I can share all kinds of things that I do.
It might not be what's
it might not be what will work for you.
Yeah.
What will work for that person to.
So we can talk even more about that next time. But I love it.
How we do?
I think we did great.
How'd we do, viewers out there? I think we did great. We had fun. Hope you all had fun watching and being with us. And we welcome you being with us next time, hopefully, right?
Grateful for you watching. We'll see you for the next episode of Curious Awakenings.
All right. Thank you.